What it do, YouTube? It's your boy Mike from NYC, and today we are reacting to the dark side of the Showtime. What the NBA doesn't want you to know. I'm sure there was a lot going on behind the scenes that we don't know, and there's a lot that we don't really need to know. I think Magic Johnson getting the HIV or getting HIV, it exposed something. It exposed something, like something was going on. But I'm not really feeling to know, but I think it'll be interesting to talk about it. Everybody has their demons. I just did a video on R. Kelly not too long ago talking about his stuff. So everybody got their thing. We all humans. We born sinners at the end of the day. You know what I'm saying? So hey, no judgment over here type stuff.
Thought of a team that, quote, helped save the NBA, as the emergence of megastars and lovable personalities such as Larry Bird and Magic Johnson helped change the narrative on a struggling league that was riddled with drug problems. It was also often thought of as unmarketable into the multi-billion-dollar conglomerate that we see today. Magic Johnson, the charismatic leader with an infectious smile, and Larry Bird, the humble superstar with an unrivaled competitive spirit. Winning a total of 8 championships and 6 MVPs combined throughout the span of the 80s, Bird and Johnson delivered fan performances that would go on to echo throughout basketball history on a nightly basis. However, while the good side of these two legendary players and their respective teams who helped save the NBA are idolized in our little subsect of humanity, what about their more shadowy side? The darker side to their colossal egos that they don't want you to know or remember. Especially for Magic Johnson and the Showtime Lakers, who former Showtime Laker player Michael Cooper put it, were a team full of whores, and Magic Johnson was the biggest whore. See, while I did find myself in awe while learning of the success and greatness that Magic Johnson and the Lakers of the 80s achieved, I was in even more awe when I learned of some of the more promiscuous, jaw-dropping acts that took place behind the scenes of the show being put on at the Staples Center. And that is what we're going to be taking a look at today. The shadow side of Magic Johnson and the Showtime Los Angeles Lakers. Before we begin though, quick shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring this video. SeatGeek, aka the best app for anyone looking to purchase tickets to NBA box below. Before I was married, I truly lived the bachelor's life. I'm no Wilt Chamberlain, but as I traveled around NBA cities, I was never at a loss for female companionship. I confess that after I arrived in LA in 1979, I did my best to accommodate as many women as I could, most of them through unprotected sex. This quote was from Magic Johnson detailing how he came about to attract the HIV/AIDS virus during his career. I did the best to accommodate as many women as I could. That singular phrase sums up the entirety of not just Magic Johnson's life off the court, but the lives of every member of the Showtime Los Angeles Lakers. From the then owner of the franchise, Jerry Buss, all the way down to the 15th man.
Kareem too? Kareem was going crazy?
On the roster. None, however, were more into the giving spirit when it came to young, influential women than Buss and Johnson. Dr. Buss seemingly dated a handful of new, barely able to drive girls every week, luring them in with promises of getting them onto their feet in LA, treating them to fancy dinners, and buying them a new pair of shoes in order to procure their companionship. Buss even going as far to keep a record book with photos of his conquests to show off to his friends after the fact. Which, as scumbaggy as that might sound, he wasn't completely heartless with the woman he saw, as Buss did pay for most, if not all, of their college expenses and was also happy to oblige with any other financial expenses that they may need assistance with. And not only...
Coming straight off the R. Kelly video, I don't know, man. It's just like, you'll bash a 40-year-old man for messing with a 16-year-old girl. But when a 60-year-old man messes with a 20-year-old girl, it's like, is your morality only guided by the law? Only? I don't know. Because people will bash Well, R. Kelly had a lot more to him. R. Kelly was apparently he was sex trafficking and things of that nature. Obviously, or based on what he's saying so far, it looks like all of these women were, doing it at their free will. But I'm just saying in general. I'm not even really saying it to compare it to R. Kelly. It just made me think of it like, to what extent are people's morality, in alignment with the law only because it's the law.
Though, Bus even stayed in contact with some of them to make sure that everything was alright with them after he had moved on to the next young thing. He wasn't a bad guy, just a bit eccentric. And the eccentricness and promiscuity of Bus could even be seen as child's play when it comes to Magic Johnson and his relationships with women. See, while Magic Johnson takes pride in the fact that he's been able to go his whole life without the use of alcohol or drugs of any kind, that's probably only because Magic had a different way of coping with the difficulties of life. Women. An exorbitant amount of women. Imagine this scenario for a second. You and a bunch of your friends take a trip to New York, pull up to a hotel, and in the lobby you find a gaggle of women all dying for the chance to throw themselves at you. And not only that, but after getting through said group of women and making it to your room, you're greeted with hundreds of different perfume-scented cards, each with a different woman's phone number inscribed. Now, if you're a guy like me, this is a scenario that goes beyond your wildest imaginations. For Magic Johnson and the rest of the Showtime Lakers, though, this was often just another Tuesday in the office. See, no matter what the city or hotel that the Lakers stayed at least 40 to 50 women would be in the lobby of their hotels waiting for the players. More specifically, waiting for Magic Johnson. And as Magic Johnson said...
Do you think that's why Magic had that little hunch in his back? Because he was always hunching? I don't know. I always wonder, like, why Magic is walking around like he hunching? But now it makes sense. I get it.
He felt it was his duty to accommodate as many of them as possible. So Magic would simply take an armful of women back to his hotel room for a bit before sending them on their way. Unlike Dr. Buzz, though, Magic had no intentions of checking in on these women later down the line. Magic, it was simply on to the next. And speaking of which, the fun wouldn't stop there. See, after accommodating the groupies from the hotel lobby, Magic typically called a couple of the perfume-scented numbers that were waiting for him in his hotel room for a post-groupie pick-me-up before heading to practice.
Jesus, yo.
Yeah. This was a typical day for Magic Johnson before practice. After practice, Magic once again will link up with a handful of more women who will be waiting for him outside of whatever facility.
Nah, that's beyond pleasure. That is just greed. Like, there's one, like, bruh, that is beyond, like, I just need to get my stuff off. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's just like, bruh, you out of control. You out of control. You out of control, bruh. Like, there's no way that... Like, bro, at that point, yeah, it's just like greed. It's just like a person who's addicted to fast food and you just keep eating fast food. Like, bro, at a point, you're not hungry. You're not seeking to be satiated or, in this case, to be, alleviated from some, like, you know what I mean? It's just like you being greedy and you out of control. But, again, not judging. I'm just analyzing, like, hey man, if it was me, who knows what I'll be doing? You feel me? Who knows?
Lakers were currently practicing it before heading out for the night to the club with some teammates who stated that Magic would always have at least 20 to 30 women draped along his arms on the way to the club. And as you can probably guess by now, after a night of clubbing, Magic would take a few more women with him back to his hotel room, do the deed, send them on their way, and then call it a day, only for the process to repeat itself the next day, and every other day throughout the entire 82-game-long NBA season. Meaning that, on average, Magic Johnson was sleeping with a minimum of 12 to 15 women per day. And even if we take the low end of that, say 12 women per day, and say instead of sleeping with that many people every day, that he only slept with anyone at all 182 days of the year, so about half the year instead of the full year, that still gives Magic a body count of well over 2,000 women per year. And that's looking at the lowest possible scale, with the high end of the scale being anywhere from around 5,000 to 6,000 women per year.
Are you a Roblox fanatic? Microsoft Rewards has a brand new way for you to earn digital gift.
Holy sh! And if you're taken aback by the sheer number of women that Magic presumably slept with in his life, well, you're in for a real shock once you learn of what took place during some of the parties that Magic Johnson would throw at his LA mansion, where he would invite women by the dozens, from Hollywood actresses to strippers to college students. There would be women who had encounters with athletes before it and bragged about the athletes that they've been with. And then there are also women who were a lot more discreet. Women for whom this was a very secret life. They would not want the rest of the world, particularly their significant others and husbands,
That's
to know of.
crazy. How many wives do you think Magic hit? How many wives do you think Magic hit? Like, you know, get the little card. Hello? 2:30? And you know Magic was quick. Magic ain't doing what he doing. Then we going to eat. Then we going here. 2:30. We got to 2:43. I got practice at 3. So let's make this quick. You know what I'm saying? Shorty be like, oh yeah, I'm going to the store real quick. And she linking up with Magic. Like that. Linking up with Magic.
Because if you were a woman attending one of Magic Johnson's notorious house parties, being down for anything was a requirement. As one of Magic's former teammates put it, by the stroke of midnight, everyone had to be busy. If a guy complained that a girl wasn't getting busy, Magic would show up and make her get busy.
Hey, yo! Whoa! Nah, I ain't gonna lie, this is crazy. Is that not crazy? Damn, that's crazy though. That's crazy. I ain't gonna lie. Who knows what Magic did? But you know the thing though? I think the difference is at some point Magic got it under control. He got a wife, he had HIV. God was like, yo, you will have to slow down. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I got things planned for you, but we can't be doing this. I think that's really the main difference with R. Kelly. I think R. Kelly could have did a lot of crimes, but if he had stopped at a certain point, I think he would be a free man right now. Like, I think, you know, we get a lot of opportunities to turn from what we're doing, but once it gets to the point where you're just too out of control, then it's just like, yeah, like, you got to pay the ultimate price. And Magic did pay somewhat of a price with getting, you know, the virus and, you know, not being able to play basketball no more. You know, it's not on the scale of R. Kelly, but, you know, still.
Should she refuse, she'd be kicked out and barred from attending any future festivities. How crazy is that? Can you imagine what would happen if this story broke today?
Ew.
Fortunately for Magic and the rest of his teammates, though,
ugly, bro. It is.
What would happen if this
Look at Drake.
story broke today?
Bro, what a beard would do for you, bro. Look at Drake, no
Crazy
beard, bro.
is that? Can you imagine what would happen if this story
I think Drake is ugly, but like the beard really just finesse.
broke today? Fortunately for Magic and the rest of his teammates, though, this was a time well before social media and phones with cameras, so they didn't have to worry about footage or pictures getting leaked to the masses. Unfortunately for Magic and the Showtime Lakers, though, they had one of the dumbest humans to ever exist on their team, Mark Landsberger. Now, when I say Mark Landsberger was one of the dumbest humans to ever exist, I don't say that to be mean in any way. It's simply, well, the truth. Mark Landsberger is historically dumb. Michael Cooper. Mark was a nice kid, but he was dumb like a post. I'm guessing he could not walk and chew gum simultaneously. Lakers VP of Banking. I hired Mark to give an hour-long rebounding course at a summer basketball camp. He ran out of words in 5 minutes. Lakers assistant coach. And my personal favorite, on his first day of practice with the Lakers, Landsberger, with the dead serious face, asked, "Do you guys run any rebounding plays?" He was dumb, which is why none of his teammates should have been surprised in the slightest bit when Landsberger, despite sleeping around on his wife with plenty of women, outed the entire Lakers roster to his wife for their not-so-kosher behind-the-scenes behaviors. The parties with groupies, the hotel lobby groupies, the scented phone card groupies, the post-practice groupies, the post-game groupies, and even the post...
Nah, that Paul Pierce picture got it, bro. That shit is mad
card groupies, the post-practice groupies, the post-game...
Paul Pierce look like, yo, bro, if she look at me, I will hate all her shit. Ever look at me. Ever look at me. Don't you ever look at me.
Groupies, and even the post-groupie groupies. Landsberger, completely unforced by the way, told his wife everything. One man, D'Angelo Russelled an entire NBA roster, resulting in all of the housewives from the Lakers players discovering about their husbands' infidelities. Granted, upon hearing firsthand from Landsberger what their husbands had been doing behind their backs, most of the wives said that they had already had a strong suspicion that
I was getting ready to say, like, if all of this is going on, you don't have an inkling something's going on, you kind of loosen the screws. But do I feel bad for these players? No. You cheating on your wife, you're doing wrong, you got caught, like, you're doing wrong. Like, I don't feel sorry for you, bro. Like, I don't feel sorry for you. I didn't feel sorry when Kobe outed Shaq. I just didn't feel sorry. Do I feel it's right to just tell on people? Not really, but I don't feel sorry if you're doing wrong and you get caught. Like, come on, bro. Like, I don't feel sorry. You cheat on your girl, that's a little different. You cheat on your wife, I don't feel sorry for you.
And some were even fine with the husband sleeping around since they said it was just one less time they'd have to do him any favors. Which I suppose is good because I don't think the players on the Lakers could have stopped living their swinger lifestyle even if they tried. It's what happens when women aren't just offered to you on a nightly basis, but thrust upon you on a nightly basis. Which leads us to the creme de la creme, the piece de resistance, the pinnacle of all debauchery. The Forum Club, aka the Staples Center's exclusive brothel.
Do y'all think LeBron cheats on his wife? Bruh, I was having a back and forth with somebody, bruh, and we was going back and forth, and they was like, bro, you know LeBron be cheating on his wife. I'm like, nah, I can't act that, I can't. And I'm not even saying that LeBron doesn't hook up with other women. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying LeBron doesn't go behind. I obviously don't know for a fact. Nobody knows for a fact but LeBron what LeBron does. But I'm saying that LeBron doesn't go behind Savannah's back. I think. That's just my opinion. I don't know. I'm giving LeBron the benefit of the doubt. LeBron has done too much for me to not give him the benefit of the doubt. You feel what I'm saying? So, yeah. Now, if LeBron does do stuff, I'm not saying he doesn't. I just think that him and Savannah will have an understanding. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, come on.
The Lakers, while they may have been the team whose players' libidos most closely resembled that of a rabbit's, weren't the only team filled with guys looking for a good time, as players from opposing teams relished the chance to travel to LA and take on the Lakers. Not necessarily for a chance of beating one of the best teams in the league at the time, but instead because of what came afterwards. The party at the Forum Club. Immediately after the final buzzer sounded, players from both teams could hardly wait to hit the lockers and shower.
Unlock your full creative potential. Go to fxhome.com now and download
wild.
the only video editing software.
And bench players especially knew that they had to be quick after the games because of what awaited after them at the Forum Club. A buffet of women from which even players from opposing teams could have their picking. Only catch is they had to get there before Magic. Once Magic arrived, all bets were
Hey, yo, this nigga is the kingpin, yo. This nigga is the kingpin, bro. That's insane. Nah. I'm just picturing it, bro. I'm just picturing it like a scenario, like a little skit where, like, niggas just hurry, trying to push, get your lock. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, come on, what's up? Who you picking? I don't know. Like, I don't know. And you see Magic. Yo, come on, Magic about to come. Come on, take it too long. And Magic come in smiling. Man, fuck, man. You always do this, son. That's why I can't fuck with you, son. Bro, chill. I'm just imagining shit like that happening.
which even players from opposing teams could have their picking. Only catch is they had to get there before Magic. Once Magic arrived, all bets were off. And though players did make up a majority of the male figures in the Forum Club, players weren't the only ones who attended these parties. Musicians, artists, actors, football players, baseball players, anyone who was anyone in the LA area would
I feel like he's snitching right now. Showing these faces is kind of just like snitching.
often drop by as well. For the women, for the drinks, and for the drugs. All of the drugs.
Gluttony.
Now, when most people think of drugs in the NBA, our mind takes us back to the 70s, before Magic and Bird, when the league was riddled with players addicted to cocaine. And while the NBA did have its most public battle with drugs back in the 70s, you'd be misguided to believe that with the emergence of Bird and Johnson that the NBA's narcotic problem magically disappeared.
Right.
Especially on the Lakers. If anyone says Lakers didn't have guys who did blow, it's laughable. There was never a shortage of cocaine. Michael Cooper, Lakers guard and cocaine user. After the games at the Forum Club, the use of cocaine was especially prevalent, with most of the waiters even doubling as cocaine dealers, and the bathrooms being the main place of consumption. Matter of fact, drug use on the Showtime Lakers had gotten to be such a problem that the Lakers advisor, the great Jerry West, hired a couple of private investigators to follow around one particular Lakers player to discover whether or not they had a drug use problem. And a player that West instructed that PI to follow was All-Star guard Norm Nixon. Now I could write the whole
All-Star guard Norm Nixon. Who is that?
other video on Norm Nixon's relationship and problems with Magic Johnson,
hit that for me.
Jerry West, and the entirety of the Los Angeles Lakers. But the main
Kareem,
thing you guys
hit
need
that.
to know is that from day one, Nixon was jealous of the attention and notoriety that Magic was getting. He envied Magic Johnson. And that envy not only caused rifts between Norm and the rest of the team, but it also caused a massive rift between Norm and West, to the point where West had been vying with the Lakers brass to remove Nixon from the roster for years. And as it turned out, this stunt by West will be one of the final straws necessary to make that dream come true. But that story is actually going to have to wait for another time. This whole Showtime Los Angeles Lakers behind the scenes thing, it's a pretty long story.
That was a great video. Honestly, that was a great video. I don't know how true it is. I'm just gonna take it. I'm gonna take the word for it that it is true. But it's just like it made me think, because I was talking to myself earlier today, and I'm not gonna go into detail about the conversation I was having with myself. I think everybody should have conversations with themselves. But I was basically telling myself like this is what I want and whoop whoop, and I had to sit back and I had to say, whoa, why do you want that? What do you think that's going to do for your life? And the reason I say that is because imagine you go into the NBA. Right, just me, like, I'm thinking about me personally. I can't speak for other people and what their aspiration is. But when I think about going to the NBA, I don't necessarily think about having camaraderie with teammates and I think about just a life that is just objectively better. You know what I mean? A life where I'm making more money, a life where I can have more impact. And I'm not saying that doesn't come with, listen, if I'm an NBA player, okay, cool. I'm not saying I would necessarily, at least what I think I would do, I wouldn't sleep around with more girls, I think, but I would probably just, be able to pick more. I'll be able to be more choosy and be more exposed to different women that I feel like is going to benefit my life. but whatever, it is what it is, right? Like you think about it, the guys that make a whole bunch of money, they're on TV, and you see their life as objectively better, just by every measurable metric. And you think about these guys that are strung out on cocaine, who are gluttonous in many ways, whether it be, drugs, women, and, get caught up with diseases. I'm sure Magic wasn't the only one to get a disease. He might have been the only one to get HIV, but he probably wasn't the only one to get diseases, and when you think about, how untrue that is, like how untrue that is, that it's a life of being objectively better. Because I could imagine somebody being like, you know what? I don't really love basketball, but I love the life that I think basketball brings. So, I'm going to be in the NBA. And if you don't really love basketball, it's like, you know what I mean? It's not really, I don't feel like it would even hit the same. That's why guys, I feel like, get out in a couple years who are extremely talented, because those guys don't really love basketball. It's like, damn, like, you have to really question, like, yo, why do I want the things that I want? What do I think in acquiring a thing? For example, money. Because most people want to acquire money because they're not happy. But a happy person wants to, be in a better financial position to be able to do extra things, not to gain happiness, right? But if you're saying, I want to be a millionaire, you're not really checking in with yourself, like, yo, why do you want to be a millionaire? Do you think being a millionaire is going to make you happy? Do you think being married is going to make you happy? Do you think doing or simply acquiring certain things is going to make you happy? Like, why do you think that's going to make you happy? Do you think just having more money is going to make you happy? Do you think a relationship is going to make you happy? Do you think, getting in shape is going to make you just happy in itself? So you got to really check in with yourself. Like, why do I do the things that I do? Because it's just like, the good news is you came a long way. But the bad news is, nigga, you went the wrong way. That's real shit, though. Like, you can come so far, and it's like, you get to a place where it's like, yo, this thing that I've gotten to isn't what I think it is, bro. Like, I've come all this way. And it's not what I think it is, bro. It's not it's all smoke and mirrors. It's not what I think it is. So I basically would say, I'll leave you with this. Anything that you want, like, check why you want the thing that you want. Do you want it because it's actually going to benefit your life? Or do you want it because the way you think it's going to make you feel? Do you want it because other people want you to have it? Like, just check your intentions. Like, sit down and, have a conversation with yourself every once in a while. But anyway, definitely like, comment, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you when I see you. Peace.